All right. Well, it's Tuesday, May 16th from Los Angeles. We're broadcasting. Welcome, everybody. If you have any questions, something comes up to your mind and you feel like sharing it, you're welcome to send it to me via the chat section. Or later on, if what I can do always when it comes to that part that we're doing questions and answers, I can unmute that one person who has a question, as long as there's no noise in the background. But we'll get to that. Before we, what I want to do is, let's see. Would like to start with our meditation before I start speaking. And then after the meditation, then we can talk about the topic of the week. So why don't we do the grounding meditation? And so you're going to have to stand up. And in this meditation, what we're going to do, for those of you who are new, I'm just going to go over this once. Again, explain it to you, is that this meditation is about get you really grounded to the planet. And so you want to feel first your feet, and go to your feet and feel your feet really connected to the ground, the floor. Then, after you do that, I would like you to, I'm going to put the camera this way. So you're imagining from your legs and your root chakra, which is here, you're growing roots all the way going inside the planet Earth. You're like an old, big, thick tree, and you're really grounded, and you have spread your roots all over. Now, when there's any kind of, wind or storm coming, your branches will shake, but you're very, the base of this tree, the bulk of the tree doesn't move. It's only the branches that are shaking. Now, you're imagining your roots are grown all the way in deep inside the planet. And so this is an imagination. You just relax and you just see yourself really rooted to the planet. And now you can do a little examination with yourself. That is like, as if like something's trying to shake you, but it can't. It can just it can push you a little bit to the side, but that's it. Your very base from here is really rooted. This part is not shaking. It's only the upper part that can move. So you're just doing a little affirmation to yourself by just getting really grounded. Now, another good thing to do is you can go up and down a little bit gently, up and down, and get yourself really settled. And a little bit, you bend your knees a little bit, just a little bit, you bend your knees, and you're just kind of going up and down like that. Okay, just get familiar with that. Like you're squatting. You just gently do that. Now, you breathe in. As you breathe in, imagine that there is green light, the healing energy of planet Earth. You're pulling it in, breathing the green light within. You're breathing it in and you're breathing it out. It goes out. All this green energy is coming and it's connecting. It's coming from your very root chakra to the second chakra, the third, comes to your heart, is going to your throat, your sixth chakra, third eye, and then goes to your root chakra and goes up to the planet. So take a deep breath, and then you send it out. Do it again, take a deep breath. It goes up. One more time, just take a deep breath. And it goes out. So that's the way you're breathing it. Now, imagine that every breath you take, when this green light is coming in, and it's coming in a spiraling. So the green light is spiraling up, and it's finding its way from your root chakra, and it's coming up all the way to your crown chakra, and it goes to the space. So do that again, take a deep breath. And it goes up. And again, same thing. You're breathing in and you're breathing it out. Very good. So now we're just going to go up and down, and you're as if this is, you make a sound of a generator. It's like, you know, kind of like Tibetan monks, that they're just doing the humming. You're just making this sound. And go up and down. And in your imagination, the green light is coming through your roots and it's just spiraling all the way up. So we're going to start doing it. As you are doing this meditation, keep doing it. As your attention, you're just seeing the green light is spiraling through your being. So your attention is on this green light. You're seeing this green light moving through you. So that's where your attention is. So go up and down, up and down. Keep the movement going. So you're just activating yourself and you're pulling, keep pulling, and see that the energy of planet Earth in a form of a green light is coming, and in a form of a spiral light is going through you. Keep going up and down. Keep going. Just really bring your attention on one point and just keep doing it. Take a deep breath. Just bring your attention to your center. Connect to the very center of yourself. For affirmations and as you have your eyes closed, I would like you to put your hands on your heart, your chest area, and just feel, see what you feel by putting your hands on your chest area. Just keep your attention on one point and just feel. See what you feel, how you feel, without really trying hard. Simply feeling, and feel your own being, your presence. This presence, this being, this soul, this living being that is existing inside your body. It's around you, and it's you. And just connect with yourself. Connect with your own being. And just be grateful for a moment. I would like you to put your ideas about yourself, your ideas about life, your relationships, whatever has happened to you in the past. I would like you to put all of these ideas away. And now, just be grateful and have gratitude for your life in this moment, for so many different things that you can do. You can use your hands, you can walk, you can talk, you can see. Simple things, the ability to wake up in the morning, make a cup of coffee, to be able to go for a walk on the street, to be able to express your feelings. Very simple things. Just be grateful that you can do these things. And just be grateful to yourself for being here right now, for having the courage to show up. That's very, very big. That you're showing your face. You have come to this sacred gathering that we have. You're not hiding. And you want to connect. And that's why you're here. And be grateful and thankful that you have this courage to do it. Because millions of people are hiding out, or they're not even aware of it. Now, if you please repeat after me, and be really mean it, what you're saying, be wholeheartedly, just repeat after me and just mean it. Mean what you're saying. Don't just do it as a robot. Really mean it. Okay. I love myself.
I love myself.
I love myself.
I love myself.
I love everybody.
I love everybody.
Everybody.
I forgive myself.
I forgive myself.
I forgive everybody.
I forgive everybody.
Because I'm loved.
Because I'm loved.
Because I'm light.
Because I'm light.
Yeah.
Because I'm God.
Because I'm God.
No, those are grandpa. They've been using it. That's why I love myself.
And I forgive myself.
And I
Forgive myself.
I say yes to love.
Say yes to love.
Love.
Yes to love.
Yes to love.
Love.
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
yes,
We're going to do the hoo-hoo meditation. You have your attention on one point. You have your attention on your third eye. You raise your hands, and we're going to jump up and down and start with Yahoo, and we move to hoo-hoo. So we start. Yahoo! Hoo, 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 take a deep breath. Come back to your center. Come back here in this place. Don't go anywhere. Don't drift away. Just come back to this place. And repeat after me. I love myself.
I love myself.
I love myself.
I love myself.
I love everybody.
I love everybody.
I forgive myself.
I forgive myself.
I forgive everybody.
I forgive everybody.
Because I'm love.
Because I'm love.
Because I'm light.
Because I'm light.
Because I'm God.
Because I'm God.
That's why I love myself.
That's why I love myself.
And I forgive myself.
And I forgive myself.
I say yes to love.
I say yes to love.
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 Yes.
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 Yes. Take a deep breath. One more time, raise your hands to the sky, and we're gonna do the Yahoo one more time. Yahoo! Hoo, 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 take a deep breath. Come back to your chairs. Go back to your seats. Take a deep breath. Make yourself sit comfortably. Close your eyes and keep your attention on one point. You're simply keeping your attention on the center of yourself. If you close your eyes and look here, you're going to see there's like a column of light running through you. And you just keep your attention there. It's not a thinking thing. It's not a mental process. You're simply keeping your attention on one point. Simply stay in this place. Know that all is well. Everything's exactly where it needs to be. You're very well protected. And there's nothing to worry about. Slowly, slowly. Back. Slowly, slowly come back. It's nice to become quiet. And as you become quiet through your meditation or whatever tools, whatever system that you have created for yourself, that you can go beyond the thinking mind and you become quiet. And as you become quiet, everything just calms down and mellows out. Everything disappears. This world that seems very hostile, it disappears, and it's momentarily or for a short period of time, it's not there. What meditation does, this form of meditation, and what we do in fifth dimensional quantum healing and awareness is to show you that the path to freedom is to be still and to be quiet. It's an opposite of everything we've been told and we've been taught all of our lives, because everything is about doing something and trying to get somewhere. So it creates an activation of the mind and it becomes goal-oriented, that you need to get to a place, you need to accomplish something. And every spiritual seeker on their path in the beginning they are seeking for happiness and satisfaction. You want to be happy, you want to be satisfied, you want to free yourself from suffering, you want to become one with God, the union with divine self. But union of divine self is just a bunch of words. Ultimately, you like to be free from suffering. You don't want to suffer. You don't want to go through this emotional swings of ups and downs. You're hoping you get to a point that when you receive bad news, you're not affected, and you're hoping that you can advance to a point that you can manipulate things to go your way. Because as long as things go my way, I'm very happy. I don't know of anyone who's unhappy when things go their way. So a part of being in this spiritual path is to learn how to manipulate things to go my way. Like going to various different kind of teachers and workshops to learn how to manifest. But how to manifest love, how to manifest wealth, right? Have you done that? Are you trying to manifest? Or how to manifest happiness? Isn't that ultimately things go my way? Means teach me a method, a technique, a system that I can manipulate the universe, so universe bend to my will and things go my way. I get the object of my desire. I can find my soulmate. I can find love. I can find a partner. And I can receive wealth. I can become wealthy. I can be comfortable. I can manipulate my body to be healthy. I can manipulate things to go my way. And and that's a very valid desire, you know? I mean, everybody wants that. Whether you're a good person or you're a bad person. You know, let's say, you know, you're the head of a fanatic group, and you're religious, or you have a cult, or you have a idea, whether you're socialist or communist, or you're promoting Nazism, or you're promoting capitalism, or whatever. You're the head of an organization, right? Whether it's a church or whatever. You still want things to go your way. You're trying to get things to go your way. Or whether you, whatever, I'm using different examples to give you an idea of, I'm talking about whatever the organization, whatever the groups, whatever the people are, as far as the collective, or if it's an individual. You basically want to make things to go your way. So therefore you get what you want. And that is with everybody, pretty much everybody on this planet. You know, it's just cut and dry. That's how it is. But how often do you get things to go your way and you get what you want? How often does that happen? Or how often things go your way and you get them, but then they don't stay that way. You lose them. You finally found the partner of your dreams, and then after a number of years, it goes sour and you separate. You go through divorce, separation, or death. You finally got your ideal job, but it won't last very long. You get fired, or the company gets sold out, and then you have to leave, or something happens and you don't like it, or, you know, we get the object of our desire, but then it won't last very long. And then we're trying to manifest something else to get to the next place. But this system of work, what we're doing, is not about really getting anywhere. Because when you awaken, when you start to realize yourself, in this realization of yourself, you realize that really there is nowhere to go, and there's nothing to do. There's nothing to get to, because you're already there. Divinity is your natural birthright. You were born a divine being. The union with God is already happened. You don't need to do anything to become one with God. You're already one with God. And you can do whatever you can. Do your best not to be a part of it. Like right now, imagining in this imagination that we're separated from the divine being, and now we're trying to get to the divine being in our imagination. It's an imaginary play that we're playing. We're already that. You can't get out of it. There's nowhere to go. You cannot hide from God, because you're already it. But then now your question is that, how come I don't feel it, right? If I'm God, if I'm one with the creator of universe, then why don't I feel it? That's the question, right? You don't feel it is because of your thinking mind. Your thinking mind is the cloud. Your thinking mind, your ideas, your thoughts create separation, create the illusion of separation. They make you think or feel that you're not one with God. You're not one with the universe. Therefore, you have to do something to get to it. And you're not worthy of it because of your past, because what you've done and what has happened to you, and because of your wicked thoughts. Because you're thinking about having sex with your best friend's husband, or you're thinking about having sex with whatever, someone. You're not supposed to think about that. Or you think, or you want, you want something you shouldn't have. You're not worthy of having it. Whatever. I'm just using different examples to point this out to you. It's just an idea. It's your thoughts. Your idea that you're not one with that. It gives you the illusion that you're separated. But when we do the work we're doing, and the meditations that we do, and you become quiet, and those moments, some of you are more advanced. I've been working with you for quite a while, or you've been doing work on yourself, and you can easily go to this place. But you go beyond your thinking mind, and you go to where there is no mind. That's one way of saying it. Or you move from the head to the heart. That's another way of putting it. You come to your heart. You come to this place of simple being. where your ego is not there, where this idea of you being separated is not there anymore. You simply are. You're in this place of being. And what happens is the bliss shows itself. You start feeling really blissed out, and you feel peace. And you feel centered. And the story of the world disappears. Your own story disappears. And you're just in this place of pure being, presence. And your goals even disappear. Your ideas of becoming one with God or manifesting something disappears. It's not there. You simply are here right now. And in this being, in this moment of here and now, there is no agenda. There is no story. There is no trying to get somewhere. Now, I'm not talking about trying to get somewhere regarding geographical places. I'm not talking about if you need to drive to go to supermarket to shop. That's not what I'm referring to. I'm talking about spiritually trying to get somewhere. Because that's only happening in your mind, not in the absolute reality. In absolute reality, there is nowhere to get to. It does not exist. It's only in your mind. It's only an idea you have that you think you need to get to something. That's because your mind is busy. But when your mind becomes quiet, you go into silence. That idea also is no longer there. It doesn't exist. And the purpose of this work, and what I do is, I'm trying to point this out to you. I want you to bring your attention to this place and to really realize that you're really free and you're not in this bondage. But that is not possible as long as the fog and the cloud is there. Because then you're not feeling it. You need to really come to, besides the understanding and the guidance of me guiding you and pointing this out to you, is that you really have to feel it for yourself, and you have to really see it for yourself. And that happens through a quiet mind. When you become quiet and you're not thinking, there's no thoughts, you simply are. And now, I'm not saying that every moment in your life you're walking around, you're going to school, you're taking your kids to school, you're going to work, you're living your life. I'm not saying that you're just sitting in meditation, because that's not possible. Going to work. You have your working mind that is working, that you need to figure out how to work with the computer. How do I turn it on? How do I turn it off? What time do I have to go pick up my son from school? You know, it's your, okay, I'm going to, I don't know, Canary Islands. I need to buy my ticket and plan my departure and coming back. That's your working mind is working. You need to use that. So I'm not talking about in this realization that you realize yourself that you're one with the divine being, that you realize there's no separation, and you realize there's nowhere to go and nothing to do about it because you're already it. I'm not saying in that process, or even if you realize that, you're just a robot for the rest of your life and you're not doing anything. I'm not saying that. You still do and live your life according to what needs to be done. But you are not operating from this worriness or anxiety and the fear. Your mind is quiet, therefore you're operating from this place of trust. Trust has taken over. You don't need to know things with your mind. You don't need to figure things out all the time. You don't need to know what's going to happen next week or next month, what's going to happen with the world. You trust. You're operating from this place, and you know all is well. Because that which runs the entire universe is running the show, and you are that. You're a part of that. You're one with that. So trust is there all the time. And trust is a very important place for the spiritual seeker to arrive at this place of trusting existence, of recognizing that really life is taking care of you and taking care of itself always. No matter what happens, it will take you to the next place. It will feed you. It will provide for you. It will carry you. Yet there is this illusory belief. There is this sense of belief that I'm the one who's doing things. I am the one who needs to manifest this. I am the one who is paying my bills. I'm the one who is going to work every day. I'm the one who da. But when your mind quiets down, you start seeing that you're really not the one who's doing any of these things. These things are happening, a part of the phenomena, and you're just another part of this happening existence. And the big kahuna, Mama, the Divine Mother, is operating through you. The operation is happening through me, through you, through everybody. Your mind has become quiet. You don't need to have this busy mind, a worry to get things done. It doesn't work that way. If it does, then why are you here? Why do you suffer? If you need to worry about things and take care of everything, then why are you where you're at? You can ask that question from yourself. Because I know, because I've been there. I've gone through this. And I know it very well. Of this continuous sense or feeling of I need to be in control of everything. I'm not in control of anything, really. Nada, nothing. It seems like I am. It looks like it. I try, but that's not how it is. It doesn't work that way. It has never worked that way, and it would never be that way. It's just not there. As simple as that. You can just relax and let go of this imaginary control, that you're the one who's making things happen. And in this relaxation, you fall back in the heart, and you just start to see the magic of life. And trust comes, more trust comes. And you can see how things really come together or fall apart. It doesn't matter. Even if the best thing in your life fell into pieces, which it will, and it does, and then it leads you to another thing and something else comes together. But when you come to this place in your spirituality, in your awareness, when you're awake, you're starting to wake up into going beyond your mind, going beyond these ideas that you have, which is all thoughts. And you're sinking into the heart, and you're becoming quiet. You're becoming humble. You're surrendering into that which is bigger than you and I. That which really, before you and I were born, and it will continue running the show after you and I die. So when you surrender to that and you relax into it, then what happens is you begin to see that the mechanism takes over, that your action and your doings and your life becomes spontaneous. You're moving from here and now, from a spontaneous place. And you can see how amazingly everything falls apart. It doesn't matter. If you think that things have to go your way all the time, that then existence is perfect, you're absolutely wrong, because you're setting yourself up to suffer. Because life is going to do whatever it wants to do. It is a mystery that no one is going to figure it out. No one has ever figured it out. Because you can't figure this out with your thinking mind. It's bigger than your mind. But you can dive into it and you become one with it. And just simply surrendering to it. But these are words, you know. Oh, surrender to life, trust life. Well, if you're not feeling it, so these are just blah, blah, blah. You have to feel it. And the only way to do that is you're simply do some active meditations and you quiet yourself. You become quiet. You fall into this place. And then all of a sudden you begin to see the harmony. All of a sudden you start to see how things come together. Because in this quietness of falling into your heart, falling to your breath, your rhythm, and getting out of this worriness, this chaos that is happening in your mind, what happens is your breath synchronizes with the breath of the universe, with the breath of the planet. There's a synchronization takes place, that you're breathing with the breath of the planet. And then in that, you become more relaxed and you can see how things are coming together. And you start to see the perfection of it, or how things fall apart, either or. There's a couple questions here that I'd like to see where we're at. Oh, we have time. Okay, we have a few questions. So one of them says, to retain a quiet mind, how much is the effort and how much is gift? Perhaps karma. To retain a quiet mind. Well, I'm going to go over this. Those of you who've heard me before, just be patient. You can't quiet your mind with thinking mind. You cannot think that you don't want to think. It doesn't work that way. So what we do is we use active meditations. Whatever we're going like blah, blah, blahs, or we're laughing. Those of you who've been with me, we've done a number of different active meditations. If we're doing the hoo-hoo, whatever. But what you do is you keep your attention on one point. Now, what happens is when you use the active meditations, and you keep your attention on one point, is you slowly go beyond the thinking mind. You're not trying to stop your mind from thinking by thoughts, but by being active, or whatever type of meditation that we're using, it will take you effortlessly away from the thinking mind. You just sink into this quiet, silent place. And those of you who've been with me for a while are all familiar with it. So we're doing our active meditation, that at one point you became very quiet. Now, I'm pointing out this quiet place to you. So I'm pointing out that this quiet place is already inside you. It's already there. Now, seek that place. Look for it by bringing your attention to it. Because what we do is we put our attention on our thoughts and our emotions. We pay a lot of attention about the content of what we're thinking. What am I thinking? And now you want to change your thinking to positive thinking. And you go take classes and courses to do that. But it doesn't matter. It makes everything worse. Because now you're investing time, money, and energy into positive thinking. Means that you're keeping your mind activated. And then to make things worse, you sit in front of the news and you listen to the news. And that makes it worse. And then you sit with your friends and talk about world's politics and what's going to happen and what Donald Trump is going to do or what the terrorist activity is going to happen. And you're really worried that you're going to be in a terrorist attack in a mall. Now you don't go to the mall anymore, or you don't travel. So now your mind's more activated than ever before. And to make things worse, you won't let your kids go there either. So you're stuck into this thing. There's more worriness and more thoughts happening. It doesn't matter if it's good thoughts or bad thoughts. It does not matter. Yeah, good thoughts make you feel better, but you're still stuck into the duality world. As long as you believe, and we're all trained in that way, that your thoughts are who you are. As long as you believe that your emotions, these feelings that you're feeling, is who you are. You're feeling good, you're feeling bad. As long as you really believe that this world that you're living in is real, you really believe it, it's real, then what happens is you are stuck in the duality. You're in third dimension and stuck in this duality, and therefore you suffer. And of course, you're really trying to do the best you can, very sincerely, because I know you're a sincere spiritual seeker. You're sincerely trying to free yourself, but that's impossible. Because you are in this world of duality. You're never going to be free until you get out of the dual world and you tap into the oneness. And then the dual world and its problems do not exist anymore. But until then, all your techniques and methods and manipulative systems, teachings, everything is futile. None of it is going to work. It just does not work because you are in a duality. You have to find the oneness. Oneness means there's no thoughts. There is no mind. It's quiet. You have arrived in a quiet place. There is no thoughts. Therefore, there is no duality. And there is no suffering. It's just the phenomena. It's just what is happening in a moment, and you react to it according to what is happening in a moment. Yes, your body is still in this world. You still get up in the morning, you still go in the bathroom, you still shower, you still do your hair, you still eat breakfast, you still have to take your kids to school, you still have to go to work. All those functions remain the same. It's not like miraculously all of a sudden they don't exist. No, the functions remain the same, but you're operating from no mind. You're operating from this place of pure being, and you're trusting it 100%. You're not even telling yourself trust. Trust is taken over. And in that, you can see how everything falls into places perfectly without you trying to manipulate things to go your way. Because whichever way anything happens, is you're fine with it. You see the perfection of life. So if things go your way, you're very happy, and things don't go your way, you're very satisfied because you realize existence is not making any mistakes. So you're completely harmonized yourself with life. So whichever way anything goes, you're okay with it. And then therefore, there's no suffering. Suffering ends. I'm going to check to see. Somebody asked me, which way is the green light going around? Okay, so we're referring to beginning of our meditation. The green light is spiraling up. So from the earth, it's spiraling and going upwards. So, okay, let's see. What can I do when people, words, and blah, blah, blah are experienced as knives in my mind, head and heart? Okay. So, okay, this other question, what can I do when people's words and blah, blah, blah are experienced as knives in my mind? And this is from last week, this question from last week regarding last week topic. But let me answer, huh?
Slightly different.
It's slightly different, but it's coming. Let me get to this a little bit later. But there's another question here. It says, why, when we go beyond and try to let go, things come more intense over? More intense. Why, when we go beyond and try to let go, things come more intense? Yeah? Did you read that, Shishi?
I didn't get it. Must be a private message to you.
Yeah. So, let me see how I can answer this question. Well, it depends. I mean, it depends where we're at on our spiritual path, and what is this, what's laid out in front of us, what kind of destiny we're going to be living. We're all not going to live the same destiny, obviously, and everyone's in a different place on their spiritual path. And if you believe in past life, if there is such a thing as past lives, I'm not saying it is, not saying it's not, okay? So, but let's say there is something such as past life. And okay, in this life, why are you going through hardships or certain kind of experiences? I have to say that I don't have all the answers, okay? And just because I have awakened to myself and I know myself, that doesn't mean that I know all the secrets of universe and I have all the answers to everything. But I can only speak for myself and my own experience. That's all I can do, because this is the only reality I know. I wish I could know more realities, but I can't. I can only speak of what it's been experienced and what I have discovered. I can't just tell you things from someone else's book that I read, because it's not my own knowing. But from my own knowing, we all have our own paths, and we all have to go through our own teachings and things we need to learn. And some it's easier, some it's tougher. But personally, from my experience, is when you're going through a tough road, it normally has to do with a big ego. The bigger your ego in the spiritual world, the more you're going to get hit harder. And you just have to, it's grinding you. The guru is grinding you. And that's been my experience. If you're being really grind, then you may want to pay attention to see that how much of this individual identity, this idea of you being a spiritual being, or you being in control, or you blah, 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 how much of that idea you have in your head. Normally, that's where it's associated to. So I'm not saying that people with very small little ego or almost done, they don't go through hardships. I'm not saying that, because there's no really set rules. But normally, if you're getting slammed over and over again and you're going through toughness and things don't go your way, and every time you thought you got everything right and then you're falling again, it normally has to do with a big ego. So you need to look at that and go beyond that. Okay, let's see if we got any more questions. Where are we at? It's 11:23. Regarding what can I do when people words blah 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 blah. Okay, so again, the more you're doing this work, the more you're becoming quiet. If you're really doing the work, you're becoming quiet and you're tuning in. So you're tuning into what? You're tuning into silence. You're recognizing the craziness of the world, of how crazy it is, how twisted it is, how backward it is. It's like the world is trying to eat, you know, in this world, wants to eat food and is putting the spoon, is trying to feed itself from this direction. And you're like, Baba, eat like this. Why don't you eat like this? No, I'm eating from here. Well, why don't you eat from here? No, I'm going to eat from here. This is like what the world, it's like. It's doing everything backwards. You know? You can see it. I mean, why do we have to have such a poverty on the planet? So many people being poor, so many people being sick, when there's more money and more wealth and technology and everyone can live really well. Why do we have to have it like that? Or a lot of other things. So it's this chaotic, crazy mind. That's what this world is. It's a reflection of craziness which is happening here. In here. Me. You. Okay? I'm not blaming it on anyone. It's us. You and I. Okay? The craziness you're experiencing is the craziness is happening here. So now, we're doing the work and we're becoming quiet. We're tuning in. You know, you're tuning your instruments. You're getting tuned. It's, you know, this crazy thing is getting tuned in. So the more you're tuning in, the more you're becoming sensitive. And different parts of you is awakening. You're not numb anymore. We're getting out of the numbness. We're getting out of numbing ourselves. So we're tuning in. And the more you're tuning in, the more you realize that the noise is bothering you. And people's blah, blah, blah. Or you walk into a restaurant bar and there's big TV screens and they're showing sports or a lot of people yelling, screaming. I'm not judging anything. Don't take me wrong. But you all of a sudden starting to find yourself sensitive to observe loud music or sound or places or people. So that's why it's bothering you. So, and that's why we spend time by ourselves. That's why we seek the company of wise. That's why you're enjoying being with your friends that they're meditative, they're quiet, or relatives, family who's not talking about the worldly stuff all the time. All the conversations is not about career and making more money and buying more real estate. Conversations are about God and silence and meditation or awareness. You're more attracted to these kind of people than the worldly people because you're tuning in. Anything else? Anybody wants to share anything? We're in our final moments and it's almost 11:30 California time. So I look forward to seeing you all next week. Okay, something came in. So let me see. Okay. I assume that it's okay if I read your question without mentioning your name. I'm the only spiritual, awakened, conscious individual in my family, and I've learned a lot by observing my family members throughout my awakening. I accept that everybody is at a different pace, but I still suffer from the pain of having a bad habit to dim my light for these people. I hide my true light, I save it. It started out as a protection strategy at first, but now I have a hard time connecting with them because I hide my knowledge and my light away, a huge part of my personality. How can I stop doing this and forgive myself for letting it happen? How do I regain my confidence? Okay, number one is, my dear, I have to share with you that you want to go beyond the guilt factor of you have to do what you have to do. And it's like being pregnant and or having a baby, or if you are a lion and you have your cubs, you have to protect them and keep them away from the wolves or snakes or whatever is going to come and eat your cubs. So same thing with our spirituality. We have to protect ourselves. So there's nothing to worry about that or feel guilty. I also grew up in a family that there was no talks of spirituality. And to this day, I just have to just keep things to myself. I tried a couple of times sharing my views in my early days, and of course you get slammed, and everyone tells you this is BS. What are you talking about? Go out there, get a job, and make some money. This kind of talk is not going to buy you a car or be a future for you. Go work in an office or at bank or whatever. This is the mentality of the people of the world. So what we talk about is nonsense and BS and of no value. But when we come together to this place and you do the work, you realize that what they're doing is really not of much value, and this is the main thing to do, and we're in minority. So personally, I had to let go of my judgment of my family that I am conscious. I went through this period of thinking that I'm conscious and the world is unconscious, or on my family, they're unconscious. And I have a lot of friends who are trapped into this place, that they're considering themselves more awakened and others asleep. But as we evolve, as we start to awaken and come to a realization, is then you realize that there is no them. This unconscious family that you're encountering is really not outside of yourself. It's an aspect of yourself. Like Donald Trump, for example, which probably we all agree, or we all have with big mouth and loud and talking about a lot of blah 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 and making a lot of chaos in the world, and a lot of us in conscious community probably don't like him. I don't consider him outside of myself. I don't see him that he's separated from me. He is an aspect of myself. Because, as you awaken, as your consciousness starts to rise, you wake up more. Yes, I understand. You have to protect yourself, as we talked about. You don't give your pearls to the pigs. I'm not going to go sit with a bunch of non-believers or a bunch of people who have nothing, they have no spiritual values, sit down them and talk about silence or talk about the things I am talking to you about. Because I'm giving my pearls to the pigs. So this knowledge, this knowing has to be protected and be shared with those few who are worthy. My brothers, sisters, you. Okay? That part. We're clear about that. Secondly, is that also, just because you're awakening and you're around, you're more conscious than your family, then okay, a part of it is you learn to be a shapeshifter, and you move in disguise, and you move in the shadows. So part of this shapeshifting is you don't reveal your identity. And yes, you're with your family, and they're not awakened, and you agree that they're where they're at, and you have awakened. So number one is you cannot go and shake them and try to wake them up because they're not ready. You cannot reveal to them that you're awakened because now they may hurt you. So, but you have a horizon and you're here, okay? If you want to look at me, you're here and they're there. They cannot come to your dimension because they're not ready for you. So they cannot raise their vibrations. But when you lower your vibrations and you hang out with them, you can only do it for a short period of time. And after a while, you get exhausted because that's not where you're vibrating. You're not vibrating here anymore. You're vibrating here. So you have to lower your vibrations to hang out with your family for Christmas or over the dinner or whatever. Listen to their stories, listen to their jokes, listen to whatever. So you're bringing yourself here. They can't come up, you go down there. Now, first of all, it's momentarily. You're not going to be doing it all the time. So secondly, you want to look at it as this, that, okay, let's say you're the parent and you're dealing with kids. Some of you who are parent, you're dealing with children. You're not going to talk about everything with your kids. And if something has happened, you need to speak kid language. So if you're diagnosed with stage 3 cancer and you have a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, you're not going to obviously tell them that I've been diagnosed with stage 3 cancer and I'm going to die, because a 5-year-old is not capable of understanding this. So you speak to them with their own language. And the same thing that, okay, you're younger and you have awakened and your parents or family are sleepy, so, but that is in this world. But in spiritual world, you're actually the parent. You're the adult and those are the kids. So now you need to go beyond your judgment and see them as an aspect of yourself. And by going beyond your judgment, again, not to go into guilt, but meeting your parents in the unified field of love, meeting your family who's sleepy. Your family is sleepy. I understand they're unconscious, but when you're conscious, now you meet them in the unified field of love. You meet them in this place that you have this connection with them, and you go beyond your ideas of how they should be, and they should be awakened, or how sleepy they are, and they're still eating meat, and they're da 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 da, and they're just talking about all these nonsense. You have to go beyond your judgment of them and meet them where you have this common ground together. And the common ground that you have together is where there is love between the two of you. You just meet them there and let them live their lives, and you live your own life. Because I share this with you because I've gone through it. Because for years and years, I had strong judgment against my father, against my family. And in my head, I would go through this thing that they're so asleep, and da 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 da, and then and I'm awake and I'm doing my work, and they're sleepy. And you know what? That put me in the same place as they were, because I created separation, that I'm better than them. But then when I started to realize that they're a part of myself, they're an aspect of me, and they're representing that part of myself. And you know what? Even they're sleepy or they're awake, it doesn't matter. I still love my dad. I still love my mom. And there are moments that we're together, and it's not about the world. It's not about spirituality. We're saying things we love to laugh together, and we're making some food, and there are things we love to do together. I brought my attention on that part, on the common ground that I have with them. And I love them for that. I love them for who they are, not who I want them to be. So then things starts to shift, and then you come to peace with yourself. And when you do that, you're amazed. You will be amazed. What happens is you have gone beyond your judgment, and all of a sudden you see the change in them. You see there's an opening, and they become more loving and more receptive to you. Because again, as I mentioned, they're not separated from you. They're an aspect of yourself. So by letting go of your self-judgment and your shame and guilt, and accepting yourself for what you are, and accepting them for what they are, something shifts and transformation takes place. And try that and see what happens. And you can just talk to me again about it. What else? Yeah. Okay. I've gone over. It's 11:41. Thank you for your patience and being with me. My intention was to finish up at 11:30, but I love being with you, and I love our topics, conversations. So I can just go on and on for a long time. So I look forward to seeing you next week. Just remember one thing, okay? You're already in oneness with God. You can't be outside of the oneness with God, no matter what you do. Even if right now you go on the street and you shoot someone, or you go steal something, you can never be outside of oneness with the divine being. So you can relax in this and get out of this thing that I gotta get it, I gotta get it, I have to become one, I need to get enlightened, I'm gonna do 10,000 mantras to get to it, I'm gonna cut my hair short, or I'm gonna be a vegetarian, and I'm da 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 da. You can just relax in this. You are already in oneness with the divine being. And it is the divine being that has brought you here, and you're hearing these words. You can just relax in that you are carried and led to this point. And you're hearing the words that is really striking your heart. It resonates with your truth. You know that inside your heart. I don't have to convince you of anything. It's already going in. You know it's the truth. There's no need to discuss that. You're in a good place. Just relax and just do your practice on going beyond your mind. Just be quiet. Practice being quiet and stay away from the pollution, from the news, from the pollution, from getting involved in these discussions about what's going to happen in the future, the political stuff, the geographical stuff, what's going to happen to planet Earth, blah, blah, blah. Just don't go into the world of the mind. Just make that your practice. Be quiet. And in that, the same force that has brought you here and brought us together, the same force is going to lift the veils off. You don't need to worry about that. Okay? Just be quiet, and the divine majesty, she will take the veils away. You don't have to worry about that. Just relax and stay in your center. Make that your practice. And for that, what is it you need to do? What do you have to do to be quiet? What you have to do is sit somewhere and just not even change your clothes or do any, this or anything. Just simply you're sitting and you're just quiet. How much effort does that take? You don't have to spend any money. You don't have to go to another country. You don't have to do anything. You're simply keeping quiet. And everything will fall into places. Okay? Love you all. And I'll see you next week. Next Tuesday. Okay.